Okay. I'm getting it. I moved this around because I was doing stuff yesterday, so I'm in a different location again. And I'm trying to see, it's not really straight. I think that's straighter. You guys can still see my laptop because it's right here because I use it off the side so I can read my chat. And I'm hoping that this thing doesn't eat junk on me today. It did the other day, but that apparently was because stuff's updating. I guess like we're getting a new Windows something or another. And since I didn't update it the other day, I kept putting it off. Like, you get like those little like messages that are like, hey, you need to update your system. And then I always would put remind me later. And I kept hitting remind me later for like 1,000 times. So I think that it finally got mad at me for doing that. So I'm doing my daily, sharing it to the people that usually log in. If you guys are sleeping and you watch this later, that's fine. If you're not available, like I get it. Because I know some people have crazy schedules and I'm understanding of that, but I just send it to people. If I ever send these to you and you don't want me to send them to you, just tell me. You're not going to hurt my feeling. Or maybe you will. Just kidding. You probably won't. But I'm going to try to put these together today. And I'm hoping that I'll get both of them done before too long. They were on sale, so that's why I got them. We've just literally been talking about this, that I wanted to get some of these Pokemon ones, and then I saw these on sale. So, of course, I had to get it. Because why wouldn't I? And I'm trying to figure out how to do stuff on my Instagram so I can share stuff. But I don't think very good some days. I'm looking. Sometimes I put too many options. Like, I can't read all of this stuff. Okay. Here, I think I figured it out. Okay, I think I got it. Sorry, I'm not talking very much, and that's not very interesting. My brain just doesn't think too good all at the same time when I'm doing stuff. So I'm going to put my phone to the side in case my mom messages me. So this set was on clearance at my Walmart. They actually had a lot of different toys on clearance right now. If you go and check your local Walmart's clearance aisle, but make sure you also check the toy aisle if you do that, because sometimes they don't move all the toys to the clearance aisle and they just leave them in the toy aisle with the little sign on it. And if you do that, just make sure, because sometimes they don't put the sticker on it. So like take a picture of the tag that's on the shelf, because sometimes they don't have all of these tagged, and I've gotten screwed over that way. But this one is only $5 off. Some of the dolls that I saw over there were like Bratz dolls, and I think I saw some Rainbow High dolls, and most of them were $10, but I went for these. But the value on that's pretty good, because a lot of the ones I saw were $30 dolls that were on sale right now for $10. So if you're into collecting dolls, especially Bratz and Rainbow High, you might want to check your Walmart and see if they have any. But this is the set that I got because, like I said, it's not that much on sale, but Vulpix is my original favorite Pokemon when I was growing up. And I never evolved my Vulpixes because I just loved them so much. The new ones that came out, I actually did enjoy the ice typing. I thought that was cool. But I still think that the original Vulpix and Ninetails should be a Ghost Fire type, because that would just make more sense for the characters. But, I mean, who am I to say anything about that? I have not put these together. I actually do have a Vulpix in a little Pokeball set that they used to come out with a while ago, but I never put it together, so that's still packaged small. And it looks like the Vulpix has a lot of like custom pieces you can see that aren't traditional bricks. So that's a little easier to see it. You can see their head in there and stuff. And Vulpix's tail is obviously a special piece. And we have a lot of little pieces and little bag. So they also have these bags numbered 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 3 looks like it's going to mostly be the base. Hey, Emmy. Then we have this sheet of paper, which has a lot of the other options for ones that it looks like they have sets for. Pichu, Pikachu, Raichu, Emolga, Wooloo, Eevee, Pidgey, Chansey, Fuecoco, Charmander, Vulpix, Ninetails, Charizard, and Machamp. Ooh, they even have a Gyarados. The Butterfree's cute. Rowlet. The Lapras is really cool. They have a Dragonite. So these are cool. And it looks like they also have really cool landscapes as well. My Walmart doesn't carry a lot of these. I think I mostly see the bigger sets like with the Poke Centers and stuff like this at Target. But I think that's just because my Walmart's pretty rural, and so I don't think we get everything. But it's pretty neat, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like it'll tell you what it comes with. So like this forest set comes with the Pichu. And this Pokemon Jungle Voyage comes with 4 different Pokemon. Squirtle, Rowlet, Butterfree, and Kabuto for some reason in this set. So it's kind of cool that it gives you the different set options to make this play set. So that's kind of neat. Yeah, I think they're kind of cool looking. So we'll see how this goes. The box is a lot easier to save than a lot of the other boxes because it fits into itself, and then you can like, you know, put it like this and you can save them. So that's kind of cool because a lot of the Lego boxes, they kind of are not as useful like that. So I'm going to throw that to the side. It'll probably honestly get thrown away. And we have our booklet, of course. So for these, I was right. You're going to need both bags 1 and 2 to make them. And it looks like it's saying that you'll make Vulpix first, of course, then you'll make Ninetails, and then you'll put them on the base, which is going to be what's in pack 3. So it's a little weird because the bricks don't look quite like normal bricks. So I'm going to have to keep an eye out and make sure that I'm grabbing the right pieces this time and not being too careless. And I don't want to lose any of the pieces because these aren't as interchangeable. Like I can't just go and grab another Lego. Megablox, I don't know if anybody uses a lot of them. The plastic feels pretty different to me compared to a regular Lego. I think these are Megablox. It says Mega Unboxed, but I think that's what that is, Megablox. They're owned by Mattel instead. They made the Halo series back in the day, if anybody remembers the Halo ones. Oh, this is weird. This is like a weird plasticky, like bendy piece, and it feels very funky. There's not very many pieces in comparison to building the BD1, so let's see. So they definitely feel more like, I don't know, less they feel almost like they have texture to them, but and like this one, again, like the other one, it's like bendy, so it's kind of got like a eraser-ish texture, kind of like this one does. So I'm going to put those to the side. And then there's the regular bricks, which have like a similar texture to a regular Lego. But most of these are more like custom looking. Got their cute little faces. I can't seem to get that one. So that's cute. Set them to the side. So we're going to go ahead and build. With this being so small, you can actually see the booklet this time. We have a lot of our little pieces, which there's a lot of because these are more movable, I think. So we're going to just go through and do our best to build like normal. Hopefully. I don't think these pictures are as much to my liking as the other ones. Unlike Lego doesn't usually do this with the color coding as much. Usually they'll show one part going down into another part, but they usually don't do this many pieces at one time, which is fine. I'm just trying to make sure I can figure out what they're doing. And the texture is different when you're popping them together. But we'll get there. So these are real Lego bricks that they usually have for other stuff too, but you can see how they actually did fill these in to make the ears like a different color on the inside, so that's kind of cute. So I gotta get those ears on there. Oh, here's another one of those squishy pieces. It's kind of like gummy textured. Okay, so we got that done. Now we put the face on the top, it looks like. All right, and that's how you make the head. And then the ears have some moving ability, so you can kind of give it some expression, I guess. Yeah, let's keep going. This shouldn't seem like it's not going to take that long. So this is Vulpix's little hair. So it goes on the front, on the little pin that's on the top here. And then there should be a roll piece, which I'm guessing is this one. This would be its little curl on top. Oh yeah, that looks cute. I think that looks pretty good. Just need to straighten its hair out a little. But it's not bad. Okay, so we're gonna set its head to the side because now we need to make its body. And this is its main body piece with the little balls on the end. So let's just gotta find stuff. I feel like I did not get as much done at work today as I wanted, but that's why there's always tomorrow. Sometimes it just takes a while because I'm waiting on other people's answers for stuff. So I didn't feel productive, but my chest hurt for a lot today, so. I did not see a Nidoking. Let me double check the pamphlet though, because I kind of blew through it. Gosh, these are so much tighter than like a Lego is. But I don't think I've seen one. This is just the pamphlet that came in there, which is still cool. That Gyarados looks pretty dope. But I have not seen a Nidoking, which is kind of weird. You'd think they would. That one's pretty popular, right? Or maybe it's not as popular anymore now that there's so many Pokemon options. I don't like I don't know. There's something about maybe, do you know what I'm talking about, Ryan? Like, there's just something about the texture of a Lego versus a non-Lego. I guess they're not technically like, I call them knockoffs sometimes, but I guess technically they're not a knockoff, but they kind of are a knockoff, right? They feel like it. They just, I don't know, texturally they just don't feel as good as a Lego brand does. Maybe that's just me being hoity-toity. But it feels like that. Okay, so we're already on putting its tail on. Which looks like you put one of these pieces on there. Yeah, they're not the same. I thought they were. The kaiju were really popular, so I'm kind of surprised they don't have a set yet. But they just, anyway, Megablox and like these other brands that I've done, like the knockoff one that I had for Stardew Valley, and this other one. I don't know if you were here when you saw the Gentle Grievous that I had. Let me grab it. And this is another one that's like that, where it's this weird knockoff brand. I don't even know what the brand is. I guess it's that mock building. But like the textures are just, I don't know. There's something about the texture of the knockoff Legos that they just don't feel as good. Okay, put her head on. They still look cute and stuff, but like when you're building it, there's just like something about them that just feels kind of weird. And sometimes I don't feel like there's like usually a more satisfying nature of the snap, but like these snap pretty well. So I'd say they're fairly satisfying, but there's almost like a resistance that I feel like if I do it too hard, it's gonna like break, if that makes any sense. As if I'm only using those brittle pieces from the brown ones or whatever, those reddish brown ones. Okay, so now I'm just gonna snap her little legs on there. I think I did see some other Lego sets at my Walmart that were on clearance again. They had, it was like from the Lego Friends, not Lego Friends like the TV show Friends, but Lego Friends was in like the girl sets. Okay, so Vulpix is already done. And she looks like this. So that's cute. I'll probably take pictures. Goes together pretty easy, but of course it is because like these pieces aren't, you know. And mostly check out Rebrickable. Rebrickable. I'll have to remember that. I like some of the sets. I mean, Lego can only do so many sets, and some of their stuff is so flippin' expensive. Sorry, you just saw my hair like pop out. But some of their sets are so expensive. I know everybody's been sending me the set that's coming out for Nightmare Before Christmas because I know I have like way too much Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, which is true. And I mean, it does look really cool, but I don't know if I'll get it because it's going to be expensive and I have other stuff that I really want. So I don't know if I'm going to get those. Let's see. These ears don't have that. So like the other ones, they like colored in her ears to make them look like ears, but they didn't do that for the Ninetails for whatever reason. I guess because her ears are solid in real life. I guess it's not really real life, is it? In Pokemon life. They did give her cute little paws. They didn't give the Vulpix little paws. But there's even like, you can't really see it, but there's even like little holes like where the toe beans would be, which is cool. One thing I do want to do, Ryan, is I kept the booklet for the Stardew Valley set, and I kind of want to rebuy the bricks in different colors to make the houses, like to make another house, to like make a Halloween version of the house or something. But I'm gonna have to go to that place, to go into the city so I can go buy the bricks. I mean, I guess I can order them online. That's what you have to do too, right? Sometimes. Okay. I gotta stay. Here's the head again. I don't know. These pictures are harder for me to understand for some reason. It shouldn't be. That's not right. Oh, there's another piece that goes there. It's not that one. It's not that one either. It's this one. Okay, now I got her face done. Okay, and the ears still technically move. So that's cute. This is her like main that goes on her head, and that literally just fits on this spot. And it goes on here. It's the same texture as like if you have the Dobby house elf legit Lego, that's what this texture is. I'm not a huge fan of that texture. Kiki and I joke about it because he's got we have one of the sets that has Dobby in it, and we're not huge fans of the texture of that Dobby. It's kind of, I don't know. I'm reading Ryan's message. You have way too many hobbies right now. Liquidate. Oh, man. Man, you're really going hard there if you're going to liquidate your cards. But no, I do totally understand. I got rid of my yarn stuff, so I'm not doing that anymore. And I'm not going to quilt anymore. I'm still cross-stitching. Legos are kind of just a backup thing for me sometimes because I don't feel like I have to think too much with them, but I'm not collecting like you collect. Like I get sets when they're on clearance. Like you actually have sets that you want to like buy and make sure you have when they come out. I'm not doing that. So I still buy cards. I'm not as hard into cards as I used to be. But part of that is I want to be able to use the cards that I currently have and do some kind of craft with them so I don't waste them. So I've been doing that. And I've been making progress. I mean, I got some stuff done yesterday. Hardest part is finding the pieces that I need. I always feel blind when I'm looking for pieces that I need. Because I need to put, these go on here. And there's supposed to be a piece that goes on top that I don't see. So I'm going to have to keep looking. You did. Yeah, the Rivendell set's going to be so cool, though. We were literally tempted by that set, even though we don't like legit collect Lego like hardcore, just because it's such a cool set to have. I do not see the other part of this head. I'm going to skip that and hope that I find it and remember to go back and put it, because I don't see, there's supposed to be another like piece you guys can't see over here, and I don't see it. So I'm just going to hope that I find it. It's supposed to go here, so I'm gonna just keep going. I think they have I've been seeing the barrel, like the Weasley home. That one I've been seeing a lot of people post about that one, because I guess that one either just got leaked or something, I'm not sure. And it does look really cool. What the heck are they making me do? So they have another one of these like weird gummy pieces, and it's supposed to go here. And it looks like I'm trying to figure out, these are supposed to go like this. But I need that piece. But I do not see that piece. And I don't see a piece I was not supposed to put on the head, because I needed it here, and then I needed it here. And that's how I built it. I feel like I need to take apart its head because I need that piece here. Well, I might do that. So in the meantime, let's snap this on. So you have to like hook these things on there and then snap something on top of it, which I'm not a huge fan of doing. I guess this is supposed to go on this. I don't know how I feel about doing that. It just kind of looks weird, and I don't like the way it feels to like have a Lego on top of it. It kind of is like when you have like a cape. But I really don't see that piece. I'm wondering if I'm just missing it, because the head went together. B, are you in the other room? Let's see if he's over there. I'm going to take her head apart and see if I added a piece, but I don't think so, because I don't see a piece I could replace it with. There's one here, and then there's one there. That's two. No, that's right then. Maybe I'm just blind. We're just going to keep going and hope that I can find it, because I just don't see it, and it doesn't sound like B's up here. So, and I didn't drop anything this time, because that does happen occasionally. Well, I think I did that part right. So we got this on there. I'm technically missing a piece here, which I'm hoping is going to show up. But right now it's not looking good. So that's a bummer. And we're going to just try to keep going without it. I don't know how you get extra pieces for something like this, so I'm hoping that I just find it. But we may not be able to. And that'll be a thing that happens. But this is at least the Ninetails, which I do like Ninetails, but I'm trying to see. I guess there are things I'm supposed to do with that, so I will have to find it. Eventually, I guess. Do you have the Pokemon model kits, or do I prefer bricks? I don't actually have any of the model kits. I don't necessarily prefer bricks. I do have a Gengar model kit downstairs, but it's one of like the really easy ones. I think I posted it on my story at one point. But it's one of those super easy ones. It doesn't have like a ton of parts, so it wasn't like difficult. It went together pretty easy. So I'm going to be weird, and since I can't find that piece that's supposed to go here, I'm just going to keep going on top of it and just pretend like it's snapping into something, which is not how you usually do things. If I had a brick that would fit there, I would put it there, but I think this will hold. I think. Or maybe I'm doing it upside down. I think I was supposed to flip it. I wonder if it's supposed to be like this on both sides. Well, we're going to do that. I think it is. They have a really cool Lucario kit that I wanted. I think it's like a regular model building kit. And I think you could either build Lucario or you could build Riolu, or maybe you could build both of them. I can't remember. And I did kind of want that kit. But at the time, I could only choose between that one and the Gengar kit, and I obviously chose the Gengar kit because that... Oh, I found it. It's over there. Doofus. Let's take those off so I can put this in there. Okay, now I got that piece in there. I need to go back and... I was supposed to do the bottom side of this. I got distracted. Okay, do that, flip it over, do this. Now instead of that, I need its neck. So it's got its own special like neck piece, it looks like, instead. And that goes here. I used to really like the Gundam like little kits, but some of them get really, really intense and they're hard. See, this is why I don't think you guys will be able to see it here, but you might be able to see how big that crack is. That's because it's sitting on this weird material. I don't like that. Not a fan. I know they're trying to do it so they can give it its like beard, whatever you want to call it, but I don't know. It bothers me. Okay, we attached its head. And its ears still move. So that's cool. Now we got to make some legs, it looks like. I think one of my favorite Pokemon is most definitely Lucario, though. I have always liked it. And then I know they had what was it? Pokemon X, where you get one. It's like technically somebody else's, but it just like likes you. And so it like leaves its trainer to come be with you. And I kept mine whenever it did that, whenever I got that one. And I'm pretty sure it was an X. And when I got it, I was just like, okay, well, you're my Pokemon now. So I like kept it. And I freaking loved that Pokemon so much. What the heck? I think little feet. Maybe this goes the opposite way. Oh, great. Oh, great. I don't understand. I think I put this in upside down because it's... I think I did. I might need Brandon's help. I think I was supposed to put, gosh, how am I supposed to get this back out? I was supposed to put this in here like that. And then I was supposed to put the big end on that so that the little end could go on the foot like this. So now I have its little leg. But I put it in backwards. So I need to get it back out, which is always the worst. And my nails are weak. One of my friends builds Gundams a lot. My friend Matt he builds frequent Gundams, and he's really good at it. And he repaints them and all that stuff to make them look even cooler. But you're right, it is very time consuming. I'm trying to get this off, but I really need Brandon's help. I think I need his help. He's got really strong hands. B! He might be taking a shower though, so I don't know. I'm gonna do something dangerous off screen. I mean, I'm not gonna do anything dangerous off screen. I think the problem with a lot of hobbies, like especially when you're in artistic hobbies, is that they just are all so time consuming. Like some hobbies for me are easy to do, right? Like I sing a lot. That's like one of my favorite things to do with singing. If I'm in a good mood, I'm singing. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm singing. Like it's just something that I do naturally. But like you can sing anywhere you go. Like I could sing in the car. I can sing. I'm like looking at anything to pull this thing out. You can sing like all over the place. It doesn't necessarily matter. But you can't do that when you're doing other things. So you can't put the foot on now. You gotta be able to set up. So my most time-consuming hobby is writing books because you have to like set up and your brain has to be ready for it and everything. If you hear me moving, I'm yelling down the stairs. Oh wait, you're right here. Brandon. Hey. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it. We're going to try. I just handed it to him. You made that seem so easy. I could never. No, I need to not put it in the wrong way. So I'm going to pay attention this time. And this goes up. Okay. I did see your message about spray painting a metallic. Okay, now I have the legs. These are her back legs. So I'm going to pop them on. So she's got 2 legs. Now she's looking a little bit like a dinosaur. So we're going to keep going. I wish I could sing more, but people at work probably think I sing too much as it is. Singing tips. Oh yeah, you did mention you wanted some singing advice. My biggest advice, honestly, and this is legit for people that want to sing, is something that I do a lot is I used to sing in the shower a lot because the sound in the shower is pretty good. And Ryan, you can probably chime in too because you actually have like a music, degree. But my biggest thing, like when I used to do music in high school, because I was in like the plays and the musicals and stuff, is I would usually take my music and sing in the bathroom because the acoustics are really good in there. And the most important thing is no matter how you sound at first, you really need to just do the sounds. So sometimes I embarrass myself because I'm not going to hit a note or whatever, but you really have to push it like you're going to and just pretend like you're going to hit it. Like, you know what I mean? So I sing like really, really loud and with like 100% on my chest. Well, technically my diaphragm. Which I know sounds like duh, but I think a lot of people, when they sing, they're worried about how they sound, like especially if you're singing around other people. And so you tend to sing not with your full like body. And when you do that, you have a tendency to not actually be making the sound that you're trying to make. And it can be very like disheartening because it's not what you actually sound like because you're not pushing your sound out. And you really need to be pushing your sound out pretty strong. When I sing, like I said, I probably annoy everybody because I belt a lot of stuff. When I was a kid, my goal was to, I really wanted to be a good singer. So I used to imitate different artists that I admire. So like back then, like think about this was like when I was a kid, right? So I really wanted to be a good singer, and I considered, what's his name? Patrick Stump, right, from Fall Out Boy. He was like one of my goals. So I would put on his CD and I would go into the bathroom and I would sing it. And, you know, just so I would kind of hear it, and I would sing really loud. Now, when it comes to warming up and stuff, a lot of people have warm-ups now on YouTube that you can do. And that's, you know, obviously that's good. Because you want to have your voice warmed up. So a lot of people will just have you doing like kind of scale things. Like, I don't know, did you play instruments? So you kind of like know what I'm talking about if I say scales or whatever. Warming up is like super important. Because in the morning, even I notice like I sing a lot, and sometimes there's like your voice will just crack because your voice isn't ready. And it's also not good for your throat. If you're not fully warmed up, you can cause damage to your throat and your larynx and everything. So you want to try to make sure that you're warmed up. I know it's hard because, like I said, even I do it whenever I'm, going to work. I don't like warm up on the way to work when I'm going to sing, but it is good to warm up. And there's tons of different warm ups online that you can do. But a lot of them will just do the basic like la kind of crap. Okay. Well, that's kind of like, you're going to do a lot of that kind of stuff. I totally think singing in a bathroom will make you feel better about it because it's going to automatically, like Ryan said, it's going to automatically, I'm so glad you have that useless degree. It's going to automatically make you sound a lot better because of that acoustic. And so you'll be able to hear yourself a little better too. So like when I'm practicing, like let's say that I'm trying to practice singing a song, I might sing like in a certain spot of the bathroom. I have like better acoustics because the sound's bouncing back on me better. And I also feel like I can hear my notes coming out a lot better that way. Okay, tail 1 is done. She's very back heavy now. Hey, Scott. We're talking about music right now. But the big thing too, like if you don't have a lot of like, see, it's hard because I did music all the time and I was always singing, but I know like one thing that my mom used to teach me is like matching notes. And you don't have to like know what a note is necessarily, but it would be like if you have somebody play a note and then you try to imitate the sound with your voice. So like if somebody's playing, and you don't even have to know that, but the neighbor pounded on the wall and I sang in the shower. To be fair, people do that to me too. And it's not necessarily because I'm a bad singer. It's just because I sing a lot and I'm really freaking loud. But I just like to do it. So I sing almost all the time. I got it from my dad too. So like in the mornings, he used to wake us up by singing. So, and he just make up songs. And I do the same thing to my kid. And sometimes he hates it and he tells me to stop. He'll be like, Mom, can you stop? But I'll literally just be like, Kieran, it's time to go to school now. And he'll be like, shut up. And I'll be like, I'm not gonna stop singing. And I'm just being annoying. But everything I do was a song because that's how my dad was. Or is. He woke my kid up singing this morning. But we were just always singing in my house. My mom used to sing all the time and we always had music going. So my goal was just if I heard somebody singing, I tried to match the same pitch they had. And then if there's a certain song that I want to be able to sing, I just would imitate it. By the way, Scott, these were on clearance at Walmart, just so you know. Yeah, I took it. We were there picking up dog food for the dogs that got dropped off at my dad's. And so I saw these when we were going back there, and I was like, of course I'm going to get it because of who it is. Also, make sure that when you're trying to sing, make sure that you're singing in a range that's actually your voice. Because I noticed this with B. When B would sing, he was singing and he was trying to pitch up so that he was singing in the same style as, like, we'll use Brendan Urie as an example. Because I sing a lot of Panic at the Disco, but I realized pretty fast after listening to Brandon that he actually has a much deeper voice than he thinks he is, but he's trying to sing up because a lot of male pop singers sing in a more like tenor, other than people like Hosier or something, right? They have a higher pitched tone. And this is not the right one. I think I have one of these wrong somewhere, but they have a higher pitched tone. And because of that, they, a lot of people think that that's the same sound they need. So they sing in like a tenor, which isn't going to be comfortable for everybody to sing in. Yeah, sing for your voice. So like what I always tell B is like, I know he wants to sing at a higher pitch, right? Because he's trying to match, Brendan Urie, right? When he's singing higher. And I'm like, well, actually, what you should be is dropping it an octave and making it the lower version of that note, because that's where your voice is actually sitting. But a lot of people don't know that. So you can sing the exact same song, but have it an octave down. And of course, professional singers will take the song and they'll completely rewrite it, maybe for a different, even a different, a different key, because some people sing in certain keys better. Pop songs usually have keys that are easier to sing in. Some keys are harder to sing than others. But a lot of pop songs are just in really basic keys, so they're easier to sing in. But I know, for example, like I'm not super great at singing really high. My head voice, like my switch to my head voice or my higher voice, hits at a really weird spot. And so I tend to do better singing alto songs than I do singing super high pitched. And it's just something that you have to practice. And I think that that's really hard for a lot of people. They think they can't sing, but a lot of it isn't that you can't sing. It's that you have to get past the embarrassment of making really horrible sounds. It's the same thing as learning a new instrument, right? So like when I first started playing the flute, I sounded like shit for years. Like not even like joking, like I literally sounded like shit for years, right? And everybody would say you're doing good, and you are for like a kid. But the biggest thing is like sometimes like literally like I'll be in the shower here at home, right? And I'll be making sounds like because I'm trying to like practice making sounds. It sounds stupid, right? I just sounded really stupid. But I'm learning how to move my mouth to make that sound. And you have to do that again to make other sounds. So especially like if you're not trying to sing pop music, and let's say you're trying to do more of a metal sound, you have to be able to make some weird sounds, right? You're going to have to be able to be comfortable with yourself enough to be embarrassed while making that sound. Brian, I'm reading your message. That's why music theory is important, to seeing the tonal relationship and the structure of music. Yes, I 100% agree, because there are definitely songs that I want to sing, and I know I will never be able to sing that song right because it's just not in the right, it's not in the right key, or it's not in the right like pitch for me to be able to sound good. Will I still sing it in the car? Yeah. Will I still sing it in public with people walking by me? Also, yeah, because I'm enjoying it. Am I sounding great? No, I'm not. But I love singing that much, and so I just do it. Why don't I sing on social media? Because I don't have the balls. That's the short answer. I had a teacher, and this is really stupid. So like, if this ever happened to somebody else, I would have told them like, you can do it, get over it, you got this. But when I was in high school, we had a teacher that I really respected, and I was trying to sign up for a it was like a conference choir thing, and we were gonna do some kind of, I don't know, thing at the school. I don't even remember everything that we were doing at the time anymore, but I remember that I was signing up for doing some event at the school, and the teacher told me that I was not that good, and I was only good because of the small town that I was in. But if I went to a bigger school, nobody would think I was a good singer. And yeah, so that really embarrassed me at the time, which, like I said, is really dumb. Why did I put that brick down? I noticed I did something wrong. But anyway, that really embarrassed me at the time because she kept comparing me to Amy Lee from Evanescence and saying I didn't sound as good as her. And I don't know if she thought I sounded like Amy Lee, which has never been my goal. I know I can't sound like Amy Lee. But after that, I just never wanted to sing that much again. So like I did the school musicals and stuff still, but then I just kind of never did it again. I kind of joke with Ryan sometimes that he should, because he's got that useless music degree, that he should make music with me because I think it would be really fun. But again, we've all talked about how we have too many hobbies. But I have thought about it. And like I said, if this had happened to any of my friends and like they were like, oh yeah, Miss whatever her name is said that I'm not very good, I would have been like, suck it up. You know who doesn't sound good traditionally? Most rock musicians. So who cares? Do you? And I'd be all about that. But of course, since it happened to me, I'm over there being a little brat about it. But that's the story on that. I'm just weak, basically. And I do sing a lot, and I don't sound horrible. I wouldn't say I'm like amazing or anything. I'm trying to get better at making weird sounds so that way I can keep practicing, because I think that's the hardest part for me is like sometimes there's sounds that I want to be able to make, but the only way that I can make it is by sucking at it first. And I don't know. My brain doesn't want me to suck at stuff, especially since, like I said, I got pretty embarrassed by that teacher saying that I wasn't good. And I just need to get over it. I'm getting better. B doesn't judge me. He just listens to me in the car and just says shit. Public music school maybe focus on visual art. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I don't even know what she was comparing me. She was literally comparing me to Beyonce and Amy Lee from Evanescence. And I was like, I would be happy just sounding like Billy Joel from Green Day, Billy Joe. I'm like, I don't need to sound like Amy Lee. Like, I know I don't think I'd ever sound as good as her or Beyonce, but that's not, I don't know. That was never something I like thought I could be, but she made it seem like that was what I was saying. And she was like, oh, you're going to embarrass yourself. I don't know if it was because I think around that time, I think American Idol was auditioning in St. Louis area, so like not that far away from me. So I don't know if she thought I was gonna go and like embarrass myself because I was like an alternative emo kid. So like maybe she thought they were gonna pick on me there or something. I don't know. That's me giving her the benefit of the doubt that she wasn't just being a hater. Because for the most part, she was a really good teacher, and I really looked up to her. She was my flute teacher and stuff, so I like super looked up to her, which is why I took it so hard, I think, because I really respected everything that she told me. So, you failed most art classes. They want traditional realism. I don't care for any of that either. I didn't do most art in school. I mostly did music, and then I was in like speech and drama. So it wasn't really about, doing your own thing. Most of it, you like have to follow a script, which I'm much better at than making things up. But when it comes to art, like my poetry and stuff, sometimes I can get really weird. Don't leave your flute in the rain. Is that a reference to something that happened in high school? because I've known you since high school, so I can't remember. For some reason that sounds familiar, but I don't know why. My brain isn't thinking. It's trying really hard. But yeah, so I did my best in high school. I did the plays and I did the musicals and everything. And I really enjoyed it. But I just apparently wasn't very good according to her. So like I said, now that I'm older, I kind of gotten over it, which is why I sing more than I used to. And I honestly, I'm going to say reference to one of the Starting Valley streams. Okay, I was like, I could have done that. I played flute in high school. So like, I could have forgotten something in the rain. Who knows? Okay, so we're almost done with this. I think, hold on. Making the weird sounds is hard. And then I would say, I'm glad they made this base because this is the Ninetails. I'm going to flip this now that I'm done. Put the magnet back. Sorry, I usually do my warning for like shaking you guys around, but I didn't. Sorry if I made you guys nauseous. I'm trying to put this on my laptop again since I just use a webcam. But why are you doing that? It's really wanting to look way over to the side. I'm so sorry. It's so dizzy. Try again. No, it really wants to look at me there. That's fine. But this is really heavy. So as a model by itself, this sucks. Sorry, I'll get back to the music thing in a second. But as a model by itself, this sucks because it's way too heavy. And when you have it sitting down, it's flipping to the back really bad. So like with the base, it's okay because it's going to lock its feet in. Its hair came off really easy too. With the base, it locks in, so it looks really cool. So this does look cool. But by itself, like, this would never stand. It needs to have a base because this tail situation is way too heavy for it. Anyway, I'm going to set it to the side. And I have extra pieces. I don't know where the heck some of these extra pieces came from. Oh, I see. These were supposed to go in here. Why double-check myself? I forgot the little... I just blew up Vulpix's head. Anyway, we're just gonna fix that right up here real fast. I don't even remember what I was going on about. Music wide. I literally just popped it straight off. I hit her ear the wrong way, and doing that literally just took off the entire head. So we're just gonna try to put those right back on. It'll be fine. She don't know no better. But anyway, I noticed, like, I wasn't singing too much, like, after, all of that because it was, I guess I was pretty embarrassed after my teacher said that. Oh, I was talking about how I think I'm being optimistic that she just thought I was going to go embarrass myself at American Idol. And, okay, well, they're done. Which I don't know why she would ever have thought that because I would have never done that because that's not like American Idol is mostly for like people that want to do like pop music and maybe country music or something, R&B maybe. But like anybody who knows me knows I've been a freaking emo since like I was 10 years old. Like I don't want to be a pop singer. I don't want to be a Beyonce or anything like that. So I'm not really sure. I'd like to give her the benefit of the doubt. And so that was just kind of like a thing. But I would say like for a while I wasn't singing that much. And then I just decided, I don't know, in the last like 10 years or so, I just sing a lot now, I think all the time. And maybe one day Ryan and I will finally get together and we'll make music. We joke about it all the time. We do. Because he's got a lot of talent in like composing and orchestrating stuff. I can't do that stuff. I have tried. Also, my face looks really tired because it's makeup that I've smudged all over because I'm wearing my Attack shirt from when I saw them with Ryan, actually. So that was cool. But I don't have the talent for writing music. Lyrics I can do. Poetry I can do. So like lyrics are just poetry. And when I hear stuff, I can sing songs in my head, like to like rhythms and sounds in my head, but I can't transpose it down. So I can't communicate what I'm singing. I can't. I have to record it, and then I'm sitting there trying to find all the notes, and it takes forever. It's not easy. So I respect people that can write music because it's really, really hard. And that's saying it, and I do have experience like writing or having to transpose small sections, but like I can't do a whole song at all. I can only play flute and a little bit of piano. Like I'm not super good at any of that stuff. But when it comes to singing, I can do a lot better. I just usually have to knock it up and down an octave to make it fit. And I can't do fancy runs or anything like that. That's not really in my voice set. I've been practicing because I really like that Something Ain't Right song by XG. But they do a lot of the like, and I'm like, I can't make my voice do that stuff. Like I can only sing like the bass version of the song. I can't do all that crazy stuff. I think my voice fits best with Deriva Cat. If you guys listen to like gamer music, she has a lot of music that's based off of like video game stuff, like Minecraft and everything. And I feel like my voice fits her like range really well. So I'd say that's also really important when you're practicing. After you kind of get comfortable with like the sound of your voice and like warm-ups and stuff, you want to find somebody that's music maybe fits your range, even if it's not music you normally listen to. So don't aim like me. I know I can't sing like Beyonce. I might still sing Beyonce, but when I'm actually practicing and trying to work on vocal stuff, I'm not going to take a Beyonce song and like assume I'm going to sound really good. I'm going to take a Deriva Cat song because that's in my range, and then I'll practice it. And then usually what I do when I'm practicing a song is for a while, I'm going to listen to it like as loud as I can safely, like take care of your ears, but I'll listen to it as loud as I can. And then I'll sing it without headphones or anything, just like singing it and trying to match it. And I will just replay the song over and over. And sometimes I won't even let the song finish. Like I hit a part where I mess up and I'll start it over and then I go back, which is a lot easier to do now that you can scrub easier like on streaming apps than like back when it was CDs and I used to do it. So then I'll go back and I'll sing it again and I'll sing it again and I'll sing it again. And I just keep doing it over and over and over again. And then I will start singing it when I have earbuds in. So I'll have the music playing pretty loud in my earbuds and then I sing it with it in the earbuds so that I hear it like directly in my ear. And I can't hear myself as well because I'm mostly hearing that, but I can feel it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I can feel if I'm hitting it based off of my throat and everything. And like you can still kind of hear yourself, but like in your head instead of it being like out of your head. And then I will start recording myself singing the song with usually no music. So like I'll put the earbud in that's playing the music directly into my ear, and then I'll record myself singing the song. But then when I play it back, it's not going to have the person singing it or the music. So I'm only going to hear myself singing, and that's going to be embarrassing. Point blank. It's going to be embarrassing. Like I still have some like on my Snapchat or whatever, because I usually do it there because it disappears. But it's going to be embarrassing because you're going to play it back and you're going to realize, wow, that really sucked. So you need to do it again. And you need to do it again. And you need to do it again. And sometimes like if there's a run or like a weird thing with your voice you have to learn, you need to do it slow. And then you need to do it a little bit faster and then a little bit faster. And your voice needs to get trained to change the speed, especially if you're doing like dips and like, and then you're starting to try to, you know, I can't think of any like songs in my head, like off the top of my head that I can just sing. But if you're trying to do anything like that, you need to go slow, just like you would on a scale, right? So you want to be able to do a slow scale to do da 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 da, and then you need to be able to go da 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 da. And the faster you can go comes from just doing it again, just like playing an instrument. You got to go slow to go fast. And your voice is the same. It's just a muscle you need to train. So you might suck now, but I mean, you probably would suck going to run a 10K if you went out to run a 10K. It's just a muscle. And I don't personally think people that have crappy voices should not sing. I think you guys should still sing regardless of what you sound like. Because to me, singing is happy. And so if I hear somebody with a shitty voice singing, I'm happy for them because they're happy singing, if that makes sense. I don't know. Because I just like doing it, and when I sing, it makes me happy. So if other people are singing, I just assume that they're also happy, or it's making them happy. So like, I don't judge if your voice doesn't sound like 100%. To me, I'm just happy you're singing. Might be a little bit different if somebody's paying like money to go see you at a venue or something, and you really suck. Like maybe I would like feel a little bit different, because you're getting paid to do it as your job, so you should do it well. But like people that are just like on average just singing, like fucking go sing. Like have fun, sing everywhere. Like obviously don't sing in annoying public places that are going to bother people. I still do that sometimes though. I can't help it. Because I sing everything. I'm not joking. I'm sure Ryan's probably seen that before too. I'm sure he gets annoyed because Kiki does. Like I literally sing everything. I got that from my dad. He used to wake me up every morning. Like even when I was a teenager, he would come in the room because we went to school. He was a teacher, so he would drive us there. Sorry, this has just become like Momo story time. But so he would walk in and he would have a different song every day. It wasn't just like a good morning, good morning. Like he didn't just do that. Like he would randomly just be making crap up about stuff. And he still does that now, and he's in his 70s, but he just like makes up stuff, and I do too. And Kieran hates it. Yeah, my kid hates it. And I'm like, Sylvia, can you stop singing what you're saying? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna be singing that I'm washing the dishes again. And he's like, stop, mom, stop. And I'm like, never. I can't help it. It's just, I don't know. It just feels natural. My dad was also in a lot of musicals and stuff growing up and was also a theater kid. So maybe that's why it's just like ingrained in our souls or something that we can't stop singing. My sister is also a really good singer. And I like singing with her because since we're sisters, our voices are very similar in that they're really good at harmonizing if she would sing with me, but she doesn't do that much anymore. But she also used to be in the musicals and stuff. And she's way better at me when it comes to doing accents, which I can't do. Or maybe I can and I just think I can't and I'm too embarrassed to try, maybe. But she's really good at doing accents. And so when we would do musicals, a lot of times she wouldn't get like the main character. Like I would get the main character role. She would get the coolest character role. So she'd be like getting the character that has the weirdest accent or the weirdest voice or the weirdest character out there. And when she would come on stage, she may only have like one scene, right? She would freaking annihilate everybody on stage because she would do such a good job that like everybody would be like, I'm sorry, but your sister upstaged you during that part of the play. And I would just be like, yeah, I know. Like we did, I don't know, people that don't watch a lot of musicals may not know what Fiddler on the Roof is. So I played Hoddle. I won Hoddle because I had to sing a specific song, and so I won that role based off of my performance for the audition, and they wanted me to sing that specific song that Hoddle sings. My sister got Grandma's Idol. Now, she's only in one scene. There's a dream sequence. She's in one scene. She did so good that nobody talked about anybody else's roles really in the entire play, except for my sister playing Grandma's Idol. And that's the kind of person my sister is. Same thing, we did a Little Woman musical when I was a senior, and I got Jo March. So I was on stage like almost the whole time because obviously Little Women is about Jo March, right? And it was a musical, and my sister got Aunt March. She only had a couple like spots that she was in, and she destroyed everybody every time she was on stage. She's just, sorry, I have a sister complex. I think she's the best person in the entire world, so you'll hear me brag about her all the time. But anyway, I do love singing with her. She's got a pretty voice. My mom has a pretty voice. My dad has a pretty voice. In my head, they're my parents, so of course I say that. And I love singing with them too. But my mom likes to sing like hymns and stuff because, you know. And my dad will, yeah, she is pretty cool, isn't she? Scott remembers my sister. Scott was the one that my sister snagged because she had to do in college. She had to do a report, and my sister's a weirdo too. So she had to do a report on the history of something. So my sister decided to do a report on the history of like goths and alternative culture, but she had to make a movie. and we don't have that many friends. So I remember I called Scott and we made him dress up and walk around the high school and we recorded him for her test. She got an A, Scott. I don't know if I ever told you that. Good job. So I have a lot of really cringy pictures of me. I don't know if I still have that video though, but I have a lot of cringy pictures of me from that time where she would do different like goth style makeup on me and she'd take pictures of it. So that was pretty hilarious. It's kind of embarrassing. But she was also really good at saxophone. She was all state in saxophone. Well, I shouldn't say all state. That's a different thing. But she got ones at state, which is like the top score you could get. I got ones on flute. She got ones in saxophone. So we were both pretty good at what we did, I guess. But that was back in the day. And as my band teacher said, we were only good because we, you know, were from a small school. You know why I could have been better. You know why I wasn't better when I did the vocal stuff with her? It's because she made me a high soprano. Like I was singing above the staff, which is like some of the highest notes you can hit. You're getting up into the bell tone area, which I can technically hit, but it's going to sound not super great. And guess what? It didn't sound super great. So, yeah. So I think one of the reasons I didn't sound good was specifically because she did that to me. If she would have picked songs that were in my range, I think that I could have done better, but she didn't. She kept on insisting that I was something that I wasn't. And that was because she said singing as an alto was easier for me. Because I'm an alto. Like, I'm a higher alto. Like, don't get me wrong. But the reason why it was easier for me to sing that is because it's in my range. But she was wanting me to push my range. So she wanted me to sing in the super high bell tone area, which I was like, whatever. She would have compared you to Lizzo playing. I don't know how she would have reacted to Lizzo. She was like, my band teacher was really into Jethro Tull, so she might like Lizzo. I'm not sure. She might think the lyrics are too vulgar. I'm not really sure how she would have reacted to that. But she definitely compared me to like weird people. And again, like Evanescence was a weird comparison. I think that was because there was another girl in school that was really into Evanescence and she really wanted to sound like Amy Lee. And to be fair, that girl probably could. She had an amazing voice, but she was not getting taught very well. And so she always did this weird thing with her mouth that would put this weird tremor in it, but not like a vibrato. I think she was trying to vibrato, but couldn't figure it out. Vibrato is that tremor you hear mostly in musicals. Like you'll hear people performing and they kind of, and Brendan Urie does it a lot too. That doesn't actually usually, it's not supposed to come from your throat. It should be coming from your diaphragm. And usually when you hold out that note for a while, it should go solid and then you'll start hearing it like tremor. That's your vibrato, right? So I used to do that, but I only do that in certain instances because you don't want to do it for like a regular pop song usually. But anyway, that girl I think was trying to do that too much. And she was trying really hard to get that vibrato in there. And so she'd do it to all of her notes, but she was doing it with her jaw by like, trying to like make that sound with her mouth. I'm making so many embarrassing sounds this time. But she was trying to do it with her jaw instead of with her chest or with her diaphragm. And so it was making it really weird sounding. And instead of like taking her and trying to teach her how to do it right, this teacher just like literally, like I said, I think she just didn't like that girl. Let me turn this off and see if that helps. Whatever. You guys don't judge anyway. But I think that the teacher just didn't really care for her because she was kind of a weird kid. She thought Pokemon were real until we were like in middle school. Like that's a legit thing to happen. But anyway, but she could have had a really good voice and she was obsessed with sounding like Amy Lee. So I don't know if like that just rubbed off because we were friendly with each other. So I don't know if like my teacher thought like, oh, Momo also wants to sound exactly like Amy Lee. I was more obsessed with sounding like Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy. Like, because that's more doable than whatever Amy Lee's doing. Amy Lee's like on a whole like operatic level of music. Pete Wentz is more on that pop punk sound. I was like, I can do that pop punk sound more. I can't be that, but I could probably get to Patrick Stump's level of musicality. Maybe Brendan Urie. He was one of the other people that I used to imitate a lot. But I know I can't be Amy Lee. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to joke myself on that. I'm never going to sound like her. Will I still belt it to her? 100%. My voice is going to crack. I'm going to hit breaks. I'm going to mess it up. And I will laugh at myself. B gets to hear that sometimes when we're going to work. Like, I'll just be picking songs. And if I'm in a singing mood, I'll, like, be picking songs that I like to sing. and my voice will be fucking up every sorry, I'm cussing a lot this stream. Sorry, YouTube. But I'll be breaking things and messing up runs and missing notes, and I'll be getting mad over there because I missed it. One song I've been practicing a lot because I still can't hit one of the runs in it is that Saturday Night Say Amen song that Brendan Urie does in one of his not his last album, but the one before that. I can't hit one of those runs, and it makes me mad every time, but I still try it like a couple times a week. And I need to do what I say and like start trying to remember what it sounds like and then practicing at home, like slow, and then go faster and faster and faster until I can hit it. Because I know I can. It's not outside my range. There's just something about the way it jumps that is my voice doesn't do it, and then I miss the top note whenever you got to get there. It's like I can't get there fast enough or something. I don't know. I just got to keep practicing. But since it's not like a real hobby, I don't like sit there and practice it. Like I just sing in the car and then like randomly walking around. And I need to just keep doing that. It's fun to me. I like doing it. I like singing. I probably, I feel like I could be somebody that would like to be a musician, like as a job, but I'm like older now and it's like harder to do since I can't write my own stuff. So that's where I am. I do have a friend named, his name on here I think is Ash Toshiro. I share him a lot on my Instagram, and he makes his own music, and he's a producer. He produces his own stuff, and he made his first music video on here. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, I can link it to you. Just message me about it. But he makes more like Midwest emo sounding stuff. It's really good, but it's just Midwest emo sounding. So if you guys like Midwest emo, you'd probably like his music. My music taste jumps all over the place. I am sure you can tell from my stories. When I post the way my stories are, my music coming up, that's literally how it's coming out on my phone as we're driving to work or driving back from work. So I will go from a K-pop song to a metalcore song to a death metal song to a pop punk song to a hyperpop song, and I'm just everywhere. I'm everywhere, and that's just the way that my brain works too. So I work better when I have music. So I have music on at work all the time, and I almost always have an earbud in with music, even when I'm like at home, because I don't play my music out loud. A lot of my stuff I can't let my kid listen to because it's not appropriate, you know? It's not appropriate. But some of it he likes, so we listen to K-pop together, and there's a lot of music for like video games now. So like he really likes CG5, who makes video game music, and he really likes who's the guy that does that boom 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 song? There's some other people that make like Minecraft songs, or like he really likes Five Nights at Freddy's music. That's my fault. He doesn't even know that stuff really. But anyway, so he likes listening to that stuff. And then we listen to those kinds of lullabies at night too. So there's like, you can find playlists of different like video games and stuff as lullabies. And so we listen to a lot of those at night. So we listen to music, like I said, like nonstop, which is cool. But I don't know. I would say I'm going to sing more, but having the balls to actually post it online is different because people are mean. People can be mean. I was really surprised that I was able to even post my last like post in general, because I didn't look like a super skinny girly like most girlies are. But that's okay. That's like a normal, I look like a normal person. And I haven't played Oblivion in a bit, just for my Oblivion update. And can I just say, I forgot how hard Oblivion was. Oblivion is so much harder than Skyrim. Skyrim is a freaking cakewalk. It's a cakewalk. And I also have to say, as somebody who follows a lot of Elder Scrolls like fan pages, stop only paying attention to Skyrim. And that's coming from like a super fan that's got Alduin on my chest. Stop. There are other Elder Scrolls games. And Skyrim doesn't have the best storyline. Sorry. Oblivion's main storyline is 1,000 times better than Skyrim's is. You guys just don't want to play the games because they're hard. The graphics suck. They legitimately are trash. Now that we're, older and have, 4K TVs everywhere and all that stuff, obviously. But we don't have that conversation. So now that I'm going back to it, I'm just like, dude, I leveled up so fast in Skyrim compared to Oblivion. And I smashed through so many freaking stories and, quest lines. And on this one, it's just like, stop one-shotting me. Please. I just want to stay in Oblivion. I just want to go to Oblivion. But the scamps are destroying me because I'm only level 2. I think I'm level 3 or 4 now, to be fair. But you know what I'm saying? You can't just be level 2 and just go do anything cool. You have to actually level up. You have to get good weapons, and then you have to carry 1,000 repair hammers. So there's parts of it that suck. But to be fair, the storyline's better, and I don't like they're doing, one of the groups that I'm in is doing polls on best X character, most Y character, and the Oblivion characters never win. So that makes me mad, just so you know. And I'm still waiting, and it's been freaking 7+ years or whatever it is since they announced the last game, and they still haven't released it. Not that I'm bitter, but I'm totally bitter because it's my favorite series and I can't help it. So yeah, that's just me being angry at the end. That's my little rant for the day. But in the meantime, that's okay. And look, I look at my freaking Instagram, and the first post is an Elder Scrolls Confessions from Civil Scrolls. And an anonymous user posted, I hate Oblivion. My first game was Skyrim, then I played Oblivion, then ESO, and then Morrowind. Oblivion is the only of those I haven't beat. I played the Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard, and I had a more enjoyable experience in Oblivion. The Shivering Isles DLC was alright, and that's the only good thing it has. Trash. That is a hot take. I'm angry. Because that is... Luckily, a lot of people in here said that somebody put, do not let bro cook, and somebody else put, sometimes it's okay to be wrong. This is one of those times. It is. Sorry. The only thing that stinks about Oblivion is the gameplay is not very intuitive. And that's somebody... I have played the other games too, right? I played very little online. And then I played a lot of Morrowind and a lot of Oblivion. I've beaten it 2 or 3 times. And I played a lot of the other stuff, beat all the expansions, even the crappy Knights of the Nine quest, which that quest legitimately does suck. But can I just say, that storyline is just so good. I'm sorry, Oblivion is so good, and I love Oblivion. I love being in Oblivion. I love fighting the Daedra. They have cool character designs. Obsidian weapons and stuff are just so cool. And I can't help it. The main story of Skyrim is not good. The only good thing about Skyrim is the mechanics of it. The mechanics of Skyrim are good. The side stories in Skyrim are pretty good. But honestly, you know what the main story of Skyrim should have probably actually been? Let's be real and say that the best main storyline of the game was the freaking cultist and going over and fighting Mirak and having all the stuff with the Hermie Mora. That was cooler. That was a main storyline. The main storyline of Skyrim is bad, and that's why I won't even beat it, because it's not even worth my time. That's my hot take for the day. That's probably where I'm going to end it too, because I just want to rant. I could rant about how much I don't like the main storyline of Skyrim for 1,000 years, because I just don't like it. I don't like Delphine. I don't like the blades in this game, which is stupid because the blades are cool in Oblivion, but they're not cool. They're not cool in Skyrim. The armor isn't even that cool, even though I still put it in my house because it's still special armor. And guess what? I don't want to kill the dragons. I don't want to kill Parthenax because he's actually not a bad guy, and I don't want to. And I don't want to have to deal with the fallout of not killing him either. And guess what? I don't like the Stormcloaks, and I don't like the Imperials because I always play as a Dark Elf, and they both treat you like crap if you're a Dark Elf, so they can both just fight each other. So yeah, anyway. Most stories in recent games aren't good, maybe. Because you can't tell me BioShock is not amazing. BioShock, the first 2 especially, and I personally like 3. I know a lot of people didn't, but I personally did. And even Borderlands, the older Borderlands were super good, and I loved those stories because they were freaking hilarious, but they kind of, I haven't seen the movie, so not going there. And I can say that some of those old games were freaking good. Alan Wake, one of the best storylines that like left me like mouth agape whenever I finished that game. Still haven't beat the second one, sorry. But I think a lot of new games have been too focused on not the story mode, which is why I think Baldur's Gate took off so much, because Baldur's Gate actually did do that. I still think the gameplay, people don't talk about the gameplay when they talk about Baldur's Gate. I very rarely see anybody talking about the gameplay mechanics or how they build their teams or anything. Everybody's talking about the story mode and specifically the romancing options, but a lot of the story mode and the character building between like getting your relationships built up in characters, because people actually do want story. But game developers think that we want online playability and we want to be playing co-op online or like PvP stuff online. And then they think that we want skins and emotes and stuff just because Fortnite took off. And I remember when Fortnite took off, and I remember people trying to come in and buy it when we worked at GameStop, and that was a travesty because they started dropping it. That's when Call of Duty started dropping their storyline modes. People actually do want the story because, and this is what I wrote my honors thesis about in college, is that a lot of people may not read books anymore, but we do play games, and the difference is not as big as people think it is. Because when you're playing the game, you're still experiencing sometimes an epic storyline, just like you would in anything else, and that is still impacting your brain and your intellect, and you're still having to think really hard on some of that stuff, and it's still bringing up hot topics. It's still making you think about philosophy sometimes, and bringing up really hard things that you have to come to terms with. I mean, think about Resident Evil and all of the actual, like, in Silent Hill. Think about Silent Hill and all of the actual, like, stuff that's behind all the lore that's in it. Because a lot of that is all psychology. But you're learning that through a game, right? You're going through the story with the person, and you're having to experience those emotions and everything just like you would in a book, right? Yes, it's true. But people don't want to do that, and so now we're getting stuck in these PvP games that really don't matter, getting stupid skins that isn't important. In order to take care of the person that's playing the game and actually build like the person and their psyche and like work on their, internal needs for like, just being a person, we need the storylines to be there. Even if we're going to have a PvP mode, why do you think like Overwatch that has like real no stories, it's got those little shorts? People want the characters. They want to know the characters. They want to know their backstories. Because we want the story. We want the experience of that. We don't just want the stupid playing. That's boring. Even when you play a game like Grand Theft Auto or some of those trash games, I mean, they're still like, and I can't say they're all trash because Grand Theft Auto actually does have like a solid storyline to it. But like, you have to think about it. Like there's still some benefit in looking at the darker sides of our lives, and being able to experience in a game is a lot better. There's always going to be dangers of that, because I know people are like, oh, video games cause violence. Guess what? Before video games, books did too, because it's making people think and use their brains, and sometimes that's not always a good thing, because your brain may not come up with the same answer as another person, right? It's the same thing. Same thing with music, right? One person hears pumped up kicks, the next thing they're doing something awful, which happened. Or there's other people that are like, wow, this is a really big criticism on the United States and the issues that we have with, the control of our weapons in the country. So, but people don't see that. They just obviously are going to take the negative and run with it, right? But anyway, so this was a completely different rant about why I think video games with good storylines are important. Because a lot of people don't read anymore. And to me, sometimes getting people into video games and getting them to experience the story winds up getting people reading. And in the end, it winds up being good for your brain. That's the dumbed down version of it. And that was what my honors thesis was about. So in my honors thesis, I specifically talked about epic stories. So I compared like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and other epic stories throughout history, Beowulf and everything. So going all the way back as far as we could to like modern games like Legend of Zelda, Elder Scrolls, the Hobbit video game, and saying that you're still experiencing a story in a similar way. It kind of just is a little different, and in a way, it's almost more interactive by playing it than by reading it. Because when you're actually playing it, you're making the choices on your own, and you're also having to like physically do the things that happen. So even if you're playing in a linear story, you are the one that has to like kill the monster. You are the one that has to defeat the evil. You are doing it. Yes, you have a different character online. You have a persona that you're playing, but it's you doing it. So you almost have a different feeling than just reading a book. So sometimes it can be more intense, but you also have to kind of have a brain, to like fully understand what you're experiencing. Too many developers have to engage third-party writers with their own agendas. I think that's true. I also think a lot of times, and this happens with writing books too, which is why I think I looked at going through a publisher, but I think I'm just going to publish everything personally through like Kindle or something, because when you start bringing in other people, the writers don't actually have as much control. So a lot of times you'll see a series take off in the first couple of books, or even video games will wind up being really good because the people that wrote it have a lot more control over what's going to happen, versus when it gets later in the games or the series in a book, and all of a sudden they're trying to push it to make more of them, or they're trying to push it a certain way because they think something's going to be more marketable. And all of a sudden you took away that creativity from the team that was actually writing it, or the person that was writing it. And that, I think, makes it struggle. And a lot of places don't actually have like a writing department as much as you think they do. And you can see that a lot. I'm pretty hypercritical because I'm an English major. But you can see that a lot whenever you're reading, like I'm going to use Elder Scrolls. I'm going to pick on them because I do that a lot. I read a lot of the books that are in the game, right? So I actually have them all saved on my computer, and when I'm bored, I read them. And Ryan actually got me a set of the physical books, right? They sell them as compendiums. But when you actually read it, you can tell from like the verbiage and like the way things are written and the punctuation that this wasn't written by a writer, if that makes sense. It was probably written by a game developer that had a really good idea but didn't know how to communicate it, and they probably don't have a writing team that's like fully going over it. And maybe that happened in the older games, and then in the newer ones they had to cut back, or they were focusing more on gameplay, so they just used the same team. But you can definitely tell that sometimes it just doesn't make all that much sense whenever it's flowing through. And that's why I think a lot of games sometimes don't have really good dialogue options, because the person that's coding it is also the person that's writing it. And that's why I think maybe having a writer on deck to help finish it, and an editor that's not an editor for the game, but an editor for the actual like story, probably would help a lot more with some of that. Because I definitely know what you mean. In the marketing department, like I said, that's a problem even with books, which is why I'm probably going to market all my stuff by itself, because they look at what is going to be more marketable. Like, is that relationship going to be more marketable, or should we split those characters up and put them with somebody else? And then you don't have a choice because you've signed a contract with a company. And I don't want to do that because my characters are pretty weird, and a lot of them are super like flamboyant, or not neurotypical, or straight. So it winds up being a little bit complicated because I don't want to get pigeonholed and forced to change my characters for something that I don't care about. Like, I want them to be the way I want them to be. And I think that's probably why you think a lot of the stories are bad, is they probably feel pretty forced and not as smooth as they should be. But I think that comes from the focus on marketability, like you said. So that sucks. And you see it with art too, right? So I'm sure you've seen that on your end, where it's like you want to design this, but it's not going to sell as much as if you design this other thing because it's more marketable. But you are your own boss, so like you can still make that other thing, But if you were through a company, they would just reject your design and want you to make something different, and that really sucks. But I'm hoping that I feel like I'm starting to see more indie brands coming out, indie game companies coming out with good stories, and the AAA companies are starting to fall. So I'm almost back to making good storylines, or they're going to just fall and we'll have more indie companies that are doing more cool stuff. I think Assassin's Creed is a great example of this. Assassin's Creed at first had an amazing idea and concept and story, and as it went on, because they were trying to force more and they were trying to make it marketable, they destroyed the story of it. I think that's probably one of the best examples I can think of. Like, some of the locations they put it in is so contrived. Like, and you can tell, like, even 4, Black Flag was like really popular. But did we really need pirates? No. I heard a writer for games say 90% of players don't care for stories. I don't think that that's true. I think I think you do have to dumb things down a little bit, but that has to do with knowing your audience, not necessarily because they don't want a story. I think it's because think about it. How many people are obsessed with the game to the point that they write music about it? They have fan fiction written about it. They have people that are, making quizzes to see who's more your type and crap like that. People want that. They really do. But if you make your story too complicated, it's true. You're going to limit the amount of people that are going to be able to get it. And so if your audience is trying to be really broad, you do have to make a pretty basic storyline so that it's easily comprehensible by a large number of people. But if you actually are trying to make a good story, it's possible that you are going to make a more complicated storyline that maybe the average person isn't going to get, but you're going to get a more devout fan base from that story, if that makes sense. So, I understand what they're saying, but I also don't think that's 100% true, because there's no way that Baldur's Gate would be this popular, because that is not a style of game that's as popular as it used to be. And it's because of the story that made that game popular. I don't think it's the gameplay. I think it's the fact that the story was really good and that people liked the romanceable options and everything. I think that caught people more than the gameplay. But anyway, that's just my thought. I think that it definitely can get confusing. That's why I think BioShock lost a lot of people in BioShock 3, is it got too weird. I think it got too weird when it added in all the lighthouses, and it lost people because it started doing weird timeline stuff. And I think that messed people up because it was too much for their brains. So in a case like that, I think you're right. It's people don't want that much. They wanted a very basic linear story instead of something that was going to become a lot more complicated. And you can see that in Alan Wake too. Alan Wake has a very complicated, I think, storyline, but I would say it's got a smaller fan base that's very devout. But anyway, that's just what I'm thinking. But I have to go because my kid just got out of kindergarten. I can definitely rant about video games anytime. I haven't been playing them as much because I have a kindergartner. But I definitely have a lot of opinions on it. And I spent a lot of time playing games. And I played a lot of games when I worked at GameStop. I played a lot of good games and I played a lot of bad games. And I kept my list of all the games that I played because back then I wanted to be a streamer, but we didn't have internet. So I probably could break that out and see what notes I left to myself, because there are definitely some games I played that were trash and some games that were so good. But anyway, hopefully my rant wasn't too much for you. I'm definitely down if you have any more questions about music. I'll try to think about it more. I feel like I kind of was all over the place and just made a lot of embarrassing sounds. So sorry about that. But yeah, so I gotta go. But anyway, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. I always like talking to you guys. Bye.